I am drinking the brand new Ultra Rosa Monster Energy drink TM, and it's real good. It tastes like artificial strawberry, because you know like what real strawberries taste like, but you know what a strawberry starburst tastes like? This is definitely of the strawberry starburst variety, and it is real good.
Those are the best Starburst.
Mm-hmm.
This podcast brought to you by Monster Energy Drink.
And Starburst. Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Ullman.
I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm Maddie Grace Spiffle-Levin.
And today we will be playing part 3 of DanganRonpa, entitled...
DanganRonpa?
Oh, sorry, of Dadgum Grandpa?
Dangle, Roggan, Dargan. I can't do a good Boomhauer
We're playing
impression.
Damn It, Bobby.
Damn it, Bobby.
Damn it, Bobby. I was trying to remember, what's this one called? It's like Shine On Galactic Hero. It has like a Dragon Ball Z episode title. It's like
I'll actually
pure
get
nonsense fucking sentences.
I'll actually get there in a second. I'm going to send it to the host chat because it just seems like the kind of thing I want to hear Eli read. So Eli, have that one ready for a second from now.
Yeah.
Got it.
So we'll be playing part 3 of Dagnabbit Rabbit, and it is entitled
A Next Generation Legend. Stand tall, class hero.
There we go.
it's so good. But yeah, we'll be playing case 3
An over-the-top name for an over-the-top case.
Of DanganRonpa today. And before we get to any of all of that, how was you guys this week?
Mine's been okay. Something happened. Well, I haven't played World of Warcraft in like 2 weeks because we finally got the rest of our achievements for Nyalotha, and we've killed N'Zoth like half a dozen times, and at this point we're just like, I think we're done with the expansion, basically.
I feel that.
Yeah, we don't do mythic rating. I won't do mythic rating. Like if they anytime someone has suggested it, I've been like, no, if you want to do that, go for it, but you won't have me. Like I haven't done a single vision of Nyalotha, which means that my cloak is a basic bitch. For those of you who don't know what that means, you get a legendary cloak for free as part of the last part of the expansion, and you level it up by doing these visions where everything's gone to shit. And I don't want to do them, so I haven't. And
that doesn't sound fun.
So my cloak is level 1. It's basically useless except for giving me extra stats. I've been done with the expansion for a while now, and I've needed a break from World of Warcraft. As much as I still love it, I've been playing since 2006, practically nonstop.
Yeah.
So
World of Warcraft dares to imagine what would it be like if everything fucking sucked. Can't imagine what that would be like.
You go through one vision and it's just your living room with the news on, just showing like what's happening right now and today. And you're like, oh, God damn it, this is the hardest one.
Or like you do the vision.
My stats aren't hard enough to do this.
You do the vision and it's like Azeroth has coronavirus now.
Speaking of which, so you know the classic, like it happened in like 1.0 or whatever, where there was a virus that spread out in WoW and like epidemiologists studied it or whatever.
Yeah,
it's a famous
the corrupted blood.
Yeah, so there was basically whatever spun off from Nostalrius, that when Nostalrius got shut down, they reintroduced corrupted blood to tell people to fucking wear a mask when you go outside for coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
And they like added in their own like wipe down surfaces and equip a mask headpiece to avoid having to get it, just to show people wearing masks fucking works. Wear your goddamn mask before you go outside. And it was fucking great.
Yeah.
Love that shit. Yeah. But speaking,
I've been playing too much Final Fantasy XIV still, and I started cleaning my office because my RP partner has been without internet for 2 days, and I'm going crazy.
Nice. I actually, Maddie, you go first. I want to go last.
Some news about my life is that I'm now a Twitch streamer. I signed on with FaZe. No, I'm just kidding. That's a group, right? That's a thing.
I have no idea.
FaZe clan. I have no idea either. I'm trying to do
Red
Twitch
Bull
streaming,
Gaming?
even though I basically don't watch Twitch streaming, so it's like kind of a little funny. I'm probably not doing it right. But anyway, I've been wanting to do it for a long time, and now I am doing it. And after doing a number of test streams, I finally did what was supposed to be my first real stream last night. But there were some tech issues, so I didn't end up telling anyone to tune in on purpose, because I was like, I don't want anyone watching this. But I still did one for Bernard, who watched like a sweetheart. And then today I did one, and it didn't have tech issues, and it still had very low viewership. And then after it was done, since it went well, I thought, okay, I'm going to post on the internet about this. So I posted on Insta, posted on Twitter. Hopefully I'll be getting a couple of followers maybe, and I'm probably going to go live again probably next Saturday. Saturday's probably going to be the day that I do it. So if you're listening to this, either in the present or in the future, hopefully in the future I'm still doing it. Also, hopefully in the future, America still exists. Well, I mean, if it didn't, if it didn't, that could be either good or bad depending on the details. But anyway, I'd be like, oh, America was destroyed? You mean like in a good way or in a bad way? But anyway.
Like, was it dismantled or exploded?
Yeah, is the rest of the world okay? Did we do MAD? Anyway, I'm Spiffle, Spiffl. I'm Spiffle on everything. So check me out on the Twitches. Right now I'm doing NES. That's not really what I want to do. It's just I just thought it'd be a good thing to do to get my feet wet. Mostly I'm going to focus on JRPGs, and Sega, and a few big, stupid, long-term projects that I'm not going to tell you. And also, whatever our next game is, I'm probably going to stream that one. And that's a reminder to Sam that once we're done with our intros, you should remind everyone of the voting.
Yes.
Yeah, other than that, relatively uneventful week. I don't remember a whole lot. You might recall I was feeling very stressed about my financial situation, but I am now signed up for some unemployment benefits and stuff like that. And it turns out I did apply, I did qualify for a degree of governmental assistance for my low hours due to COVID. So that's nice. So I should be getting some assistance there, so I'm not stressed out anymore, really, which is nice. It's nice to not be freaking the fuck out. It's not going to be very hard with the assistance plus my own work hours to make like rent and bills. It won't be very hard, which I can count myself fortunate, because for a lot of people they're not so lucky, right? But yeah, that's pretty much it. Life is good. I'm not super stressed about shit anymore, and now I'm on my way to becoming an e-girl. So there you go. What's up with you, Sam?
I can't relate to any of the above, but so I had been waiting to hear back from my CEO because he took PTO basically right at the week where he said he was going to decide if I could keep my job or not. So he took PTO, and so I was just sitting there waiting, and he came back and he had his meeting, and he said that he basically taxes are hard and they don't want to figure out how to do the taxes for me to not live in Texas and work for them. So my last day at IT Freedom will be August 1st, which then means I can move to Madison on August 1st instead of sometime in August, because the August 31st is the last day we have this apartment. So I will basically just get to Madison as quick as possible to get a job as quick as possible. And if anybody is hiring remote work, let me know, because that would be great.
I'm curious, because I don't know if I've ever heard from you. Is there a particular reason why Wisconsin?
So a 3-bedroom duplex apartment costs $850 a month.
Fucking Christ.
That's the main reason.
If you keep saying that, I'm gonna fucking move to Wisconsin. Christ, let's just all move to Wisconsin.
Yeah. Other than that, it's relatively close to Chicago. It's about as far from Chicago as like my family is from Austin. So it's like a weekend trip to see all of Summer's family in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
It's cold, and it's easier to move to a cold place instead of lose weight, and it sucks being in Texas in the summer as a fat guy. So
I agree.
So we're going to where so you want to know what last year's highest average, like, per month temperature was?
Honestly, no.
Madison,
don't fucking
Wisconsin?
tell me. I'm just kidding. Tell me.
86. That was as hot as it got on the hottest day last year. Was
That's
86.
still too high as far as I'm concerned.
Even
but
the Bay Area, which
but if
is
that's
beautiful,
your max,
gets hotter than that.
yeah.
Yeah, if that's your max, like most months didn't go over 80 degrees. It was like 72, 76 for the summer, which is ridiculous. That's what we keep our house on in the summer. Like, that's silly. So, other than that, it's just
so you'll also save on not having an AC.
And what was that?
You'll probably save on not having an AC.
No. Yeah, that's definitely true. And then on top of that, Milwaukee, just this last week, somebody reported someone missing, and the Milwaukee police didn't do a goddamn thing. So Milwaukee created their own, like, missing people's network, and they found the people that were missing, and they helped them without the police. So that's really cool, and I'm excited to go be a part of people who realize they don't need police to do a goddamn thing.
That's dope.
So,
yeah,
that'll be fun.
Also, you're close to Canada. So that's for, I don't know.
Yeah, for Canadian reasons. But yeah, the drive up there is going to be wild, because we're going to do it overnight, because we have two tiny children. I'm going to be pulling a trailer, and it's an 18-hour drive. So
it's not too bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of fuck that are coming in, but it'll be fun. But yeah, that was stressful. And then, so 2 days ago, Scarlett went to go pee, but like Summer was using the toilet or something. So Scarlett, being a little weirdo, peed in the sink, because sometimes, like, while we're like using the toilet and she runs in, like, I'm going to have an accident if I don't go pee right now. We just like sit in the sink and go. It's just pee. And so she did that, had a surprise poop, accidentally pooped in the sink.
Oh my God.
That time it was funny. Yesterday, after the first one, it was funny, but we were like, never do this again. Don't even go to pee in the sink anymore. We have 3 toilets in this house. Just go to a different toilet. You're a big girl, yada, yada, yada. So yesterday, she pooped an entire poop, not just a surprise poop, but like laid out crisscross applesauce turds in her sink. Didn't tell us about it. It sat there all day.
Oh my God.
So that was fucking nasty.
Thank you for giving me more reasons not to have children.
Oh, I'm not done. And
good Lord.
Oh no.
I hate this. I hate it so much.
No, there's no more poop part, at least. But so then, like, today and yesterday and the day before and this whole week, she just, like, she either won't listen, like she'll be going to grab something that's like dangerous, or she could hurt herself, or it's breakable and we don't want her to touch it or something. We'll be like, Scarlet, no. And she will continue and grab the thing until we have to like run over and take it from her and be like, we said no, you hurt us. Like, what the hell is the fucking matter with you? The answer is she's 3. And it's a hard thing to remember. But then what she started doing today was like listening and understanding us, and then purposely doing the opposite.
Why are you writing out my daughter?
I'm writing her out because she's a little bitch.
It's exactly the phrase I was going to use. And be like, oh, she's being a little bitch.
I will literally murder you for calling my daughter a bitch, Sam Almond. Say it again.
She's a little bitch.
Well, rip Sam.
Podcast over. Sam's dead.
F's in chat for Sam.
Summer, you want to take over?
Yeah, and
for Sam.
And so that's just been constantly annoying. And then like we'll get on to her for it. We're like, Scarlet, we told you ABC XYZ. Why did you do it? And she just won't respond, and she'll just start like whining at the top of her lungs to make us feel bad for getting on to her. So we apologize. She's trying to like emotionally abuse us into letting her not be grounded. And so like while she was doing that all day, Storm just was, you know, the cliche of like the baby that will cry if you put him down for half a second. Storm was that cliche today, and it was just so exhausting. And like me and Summer both were like ready to go to sleep for the night at like 6:30, and we're like, what did we even do today? And we didn't do anything. It was just the kids just took all of our energy. So I'm drinking a Monster so that I can do this. No. But yeah, that was my week. It was a weird week, but I'm moving in a month, so that'll be fun. Which works out because there are 4 DanganRonpa episodes left. 3 more cases and a movie night. So that will line up perfectly for me to not be here for the movie nights. I can be here for everything else.
Good.
So yeah, that'll be fun. Other than that, let's listen to some DanganRonpa music. So let's listen to some DanganRonpa music, and then we'll talk about this video game.
All right, folks, buckle up because it's about to get goofy. That's right, we got a weird one this week.
Yep.
A lot of important plot developments and also a murder mystery that is just a hollering good time. Let's just say it is not an exaggeration to say that at least one point during this week, it would not have been inappropriate for the oh damn it, the fucking Benny Hill theme to play. Let's just put it that way.
Yakety sax.
Yakety sax.
Yeah, yakety sax would have been appropriate in more than one portion of this week's gameplay. So anyway, we begin though decompressing from the very, very heavy end of last week. We begin with Hina. She is crying in bed. She says she can't take it anymore. She says she needs to stop thinking about how much she wants to get out, or she might, they're making us think that she might snap and do a murder, but of course she would never. She's Hina. At least she won't this chapter. She says she might, and then she says donuts. I should get donuts, which is relatable. She has to get donuts so she doesn't murder somebody. So Hina goes out into the main hall, and she hears a very strange sound coming from the bathhouse. What? she enters. Oh, and if you recall, there's a changing room before the bathhouse, so there's a part that isn't steamy. She enters, and is in one of the lockers is a floating fucking green glowing Chihiro face. So that's weird. Anyway, on to chapter 3. Makoto, the next morning. He's like, you go to the dining hall, and it's like, damn, the group sure is getting small. Toko, Byakuya, and Hina aren't there. Of course, Toko and Byakuya wouldn't be there, but Hina usually shows up. Hina told Sakura she wasn't feeling well. But why did I say that? So there's just 7 of them. Hiro tells Taka that he, the committee chairman, should get things going. Taka is not doing well. For the first half or so of today's gameplay, Taka is straight up catatonic. Like, every one of his dialogue boxes is ... He's just so shocked not only by the death of his extremely close friend, but also by the knowledge that his extremely close friend committed a heinous murder. He's fucked up. So anyway, everyone's depressed. This is a really low point for everyone. Celeste is like, y'all, it's not that bad here, honestly. Let's just stay here forever. We'll be fine. Outside world sucks anyway. Then Hifumi says, no, I have to get out because this place is sorely missing something very important. And they're like, what is it? And he goes, there's no 2D here. And then he goes on about Demon Angel Pudgy Princess, which is an anime that he likes. Anyway, everyone remembers that the school areas are going to open up more, and they decide to investigate. And then Genocide Jill shows up. She says, this place rules. Time to let my freak flag fly and get to killing. She wants to defeat the stereotype of the split personality killer despite being that. Sakura, but here's the funny thing. Sakura just kind of ignores her. Literally, like, she shows up and she's like, I'm evil. And everyone's like, okay. And then the narration says something like, we all ate, basically the narration informs us that they all ate breakfast. And basically the thing about Genocide Jill is she is a serial killer, but the way in which she plays into the plot is basically that everyone just thinks she's really annoying. So like at first they're just like, oh, we're so scared of her, she's gonna kill us. Now they're just like, God, you're obnoxious. So anyway, let's go over the new areas. First floor. There's a nurse's room now. It's got a totally normal trash can and a totally normal fridge. Probably for like medicine and stuff that needs to be kept cold. I'm sure neither of these will be important. The second floor's got nothing. The third floor has 2 more classrooms, nothing in them. There's also 3 rooms. First, there's the rec room. A rec room, hooray! They get to have some. They were just talking about maybe we will stay here forever after all. It's not too bad. And now there's a room to have fun. It's got Othello, shogi, darts, billiards, and a magazine rack. Mono appears and says, we got all kinds of magazines. Celeste says, oh, so will you be adding new issues when they come out? Monokuma says, even if I wanted to do that, right now magazines are kind of... Oh, look at the time. He runs off. Makoto notes that it's pretty weird for a normal school to have stuff like darts or billiards and wonders if it was already like this or if Monokuma put it here. All right, next, art room. The art room is huge. There's lots of equipment and painting and sculptures, statues, same thing. Hifumi is real into it. There's a door in the back, a supply room. On the floor is a picture. What the fuck? On the floor is a picture of Chihiro, Leon, and Mondo, who, remember, at this point, are all dead. All wearing clothes we've never seen them in, hanging out together and smiling. What the fuck? Who took this? When was it taken? And the window in the pic has no metal plate covering it. Monokuma says, oops, and shows up and takes it. Physics lab. This is quite the room for a presumable high school. It's got a giant fucking machine in it that who knows what it does. There's this stupid bullshit where Monokuma says it's a time machine, but he's just messing with you. He's just bullshitting you. But at one point he does mention something called the tragedy, capital T, capital T. But he's like, nah, it's actually just an air purifier. Don't mess with it. There's also a digital camera. Makoto takes it but doesn't look through it. There's another door. There's an equipment room. And in the equipment room is some equipment. And that's it. So you go back to the dining room. Hina's here. Makoto shows the group the digital camera. It's got an anime character on it, which Hifumi recognizes as being it's his camera. That's actually Pudgy Princess on the camera. He says, "This is my most prized possession, but I lost it on our first day here, along with my phone." Also, it appears to be quite scuffed up, which makes him upset, and he says he doesn't care about it anymore because it's not in mint condition. Celeste can...
That was me when I was cleaning up Pokemon cards earlier and found some that were stuck together. I'm like, well, they're not mint condition. Time to throw them out.
Does that mean where the Toy Story kid is like, "I don't want to play with you anymore"?
Oh, yeah.
So anyway,
speaking of mint condition, I remembered that guy on OfferUp that was selling a quote almost mint condition GameCube with 2 controllers and a copy of Madden for the GameCube. And both controllers were Mad Catz, and he was selling it for $250.
Oh my
That's
god!
right.
I bought my GameCube for $30 at a GameStop, and it had Smash Brothers in it.
Yeah,
hell yeah. Anyway, Celeste says, "Hey, can I have that camera? I may have some use for it." Also, the camera is notably like for babies. It can hold like 5 pics. Hiro offhandedly mentions Byakuya, and Toko blitzes off to get him. Bitch knows what she wants. Hina says she made a big discovery. Makoto shares his troubling discovery about the photo that he found. No one's really sure what to make of it, and in fact, they tell you, yeah, it's probably just another one of Monokuma's tricks. But Makoto, of course, is really bothered by the implications. Celeste calls Hina the fuck out for lying about a hurt stomach. Damn, girl. Oh, right. She's a super high school level gambler. She can probably tell when anyone is lying. We note to not mess with Celeste. Hina admits to lying. Sakura is hurt that she lied. Here's why. She was worried even if she told everyone the truth, no one would believe her. About what? She saw a ghost? Sakura believes her. So she shares the stuff we already saw last night in the intro scene. She saw Chihiro's ghost. Everyone else is like, well, fuck, let's just go check it out. So we're about to get to one of the most important, probably I would say the first really significant plot development in the whole game when it comes to what is the overall arc plot of this game, besides just the individual words. Mm-hmm. There's been hints before. There's been some stuff here and there, but like, this is the big boy, honestly. So
this is kind of like the match underneath it all, the lit fuse. Like from here on, it's like the murders keep happening to distract you from the plot of the game.
Yeah. This is really, it's like, okay, the plot's happening now, right? So we go to the bathhouse entryway and we check the locker. It's a laptop? It's the broken laptop from last week that Sam mentioned had been moved. Very astute, Sam. But now it's not broken. Mm-hmm. It's on, but in sleep mode. They figured Chihiro must have fixed it. Celeste says, lol, you thought the blinking light was a ghost, you dumbass. Holy shit. Kyoko mentioned this is a special room. Unlike every other room in the school, there's no surveillance cameras here. Monokuma can't see in here. Whoever put this laptop here must have put it here on purpose to hide it from Monokuma. Kyoko wakes it up. It turns on. The desktop has a bunch of normal programs, plus a weird one called Alter Ego. They click it. Chihiro's voice, Chihiro's face fills the screen and the room. Kyoko, so it seems to be a virtual Chihiro program, which hits everyone in the game, everyone in the game's cast, and everyone playing it like an emotional ton of bricks, because Chihiro is a very tragic character. Yep. So to see that she lives on in computer form is wild. So Kyoko types, so it can talk. She can talk. And I guess can see, but you still have to... Oh, right, there's no microphone on the camera. Yeah, so the point is you still have to talk to it via typing. So Kyoko types, "What are you?" And she says, "Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Chihiro Fujisaki." Whenever Alter Ego talks about herself, she misgenders herself and her own master, which is really annoying. But again, that's because the people who wrote this game thought that that's what would happen. So anyway, turns out that Chihiro made an AI. You know, I do say, I think it might have been cute if it had been like, actually Chihiro maybe wasn't trans or didn't recognize herself as such yet, because that can happen. But then, like, what if the AI was? Like the AI is a girl, and Chihiro's like, I'm still definitely a boy, but for some reason, this computer that I made of myself is a girl. That doesn't mean anything. I can see that happening, you know? That's a real thing. But anyway, point is, turns out Chihiro made an AI that has been doing machine learning for X amount of time. Remember we talked last week, when you date Chihiro, it turns out that she was working on a fucking hard AI. Anyway, she hid it away from Monokuma. Turns out there's a massive number of files on this laptop, and they're super duper protected, so she figures this shit must be really important. So Alter Ego is made to analyze them. Maybe it's got like the big secret of this school. Kyoko asks how much longer. She says, it'll be a while, but I know I can do it. Just leave it to me. She also says, I can see out of the webcam, by the way, so if I'm in any danger, I can holler. At night, nobody would be able to hear, but also they can't really take shifts in the bathhouse because Monokuma would probably notice. Kyoko says that she'll leave her door open at night, which puts her in danger, but she says, don't fuck with me. Now it's Alter Ego's turn to ask questions. She asks if Chihiro is dead. We answer truthfully. Alter Ego says, I had a feeling she wasn't going to make it. They also briefly consider getting the thing online, but they can't figure out a safe way to do so. Also, Hifumi very clearly has a crush on Alter Ego and is being real pervy about it. It's very creepy and upsetting in this scene, but in case you're wondering, it ends up being really sweet later, actually. Also, he calls her she constantly, which is great.
Yeah, he doesn't misgender her at all.
Yeah, it's really dope.
Yeah, it's kind like, it's not to the game's credit that he correctly genders her, because it's played as a joke of stupid Hifumi is so into anime girls that now that there's a CG anime girl on the computer, he's falling in love with her as a girl, even though we all know that it's a boy for real. Isn't Hifumi so dumb and silly for that, is kind of how it's written. So it's not like,
but ironically, it loops around to making him a sweetie pie.
Yes.
So anyway, next is a scene that I kept waffling about whether to include this next scene, but I think it's important because it establishes two main themes of the chapter. So, after we leave the bathhouse, everyone is in good spirits. Like, everyone is the most positive and optimistic they've been the entire game. Because they've found hope, progress. They found something to latch on to. Hina says, wow, I'm so happy I did something useful. Monokuma shows up, of course, to ruin everyone's mood. First, he says, why are y'all so happy? And then he says, what did Hina do that was useful? Celeste immediately cooks up a brilliant lie because she's extremely good at lying. She says, oh, all of us were excited to use the bathhouse, but it's not separated by gender, so we played rock, paper, scissors to see which group was going to go first, and Hina won, so all the girls get to go first. And Hina says, yeah, I kicked ass. All the girls thank her for winning for their team. All the boys are like, oh no, we wanted to go to the bathhouse, but Hina beat us rock, paper, scissors. That's something that actually happened. They all do a really great job of lying, actually. Monokuma suspects something, but not too much. So the theme here is that everyone finally has hope and solidarity, and they feel like AE has really given them a chance to defy Monokuma, and it's really awesome. The other theme here is, again, do not fuck with Celeste, because she is a stone-cold psycho. Dining hall. Everyone continues to be in a good mood. Monokuma got everyone presents. Oh, here we go again, thinks everyone. The present is another attempt at a motive. Whoever graduates get $10 million? Literally everyone is like, fuck you. You think you can beat us? We're not going to kill each other for $10 million, you dipshit. Like, that's not going to beat the power of friendship. I think this is a really funny scene because, yeah, like, the previous two motives were very insidious and sneaky and psychological, and this is literally just like, a bunch of money. It's like it almost feels like Monokuma is slipping, you know? Like, that's the best you can do, you dumbass. So anyway, it's nighttime. Morning, breakfast. As an aside, Hina and Sakura are continuing to become BFFs, and it's very cute. Like, their interactions, they are just very, very close at this point. They really care about each other. It's great. Hifumi is in a weirdly excellent mood. He says his soul is bursting with strawberries or something. So, you know, that's weird. The breakfast club is down to 7. Of course, Byakuya and Toko aren't there, but Taka's also still catatonic and not participating. Kyoko says nighttime went fine. She checked in on Alter Ego in the morning with no issue. Though she does add a new group rule. She says, hey, no one's allowed to mess with Alter Ego without permission. Everyone says, why would we need that rule? Isn't it obvious? Kyoko kind of dead-eyes Hifumi and is like, no one is allowed to mess with Alter Ego without permission. Yeah, so that happened. We have some free time. Anyway, I dated Celeste. I'll tell you about her later. Let's see. Skip. All right, so your doorbell rings. It's Taka. Taka says he wants to see Chihiro. You take him to see Alter Ego, even though you're not supposed to. But Taka's really doing bad, right? So you do your buddy a solid. Taka asks Alter Ego if she hates Mondo and if she hates him. She says, please, live your life for the both of us. She says, this is what I think Chihiro would say. And she says, please live your life for the both of us. It's impossible for me to escape now, but all of you can still survive. He's still sad. So, look, I told y'all it's about to get goofy. And the fact that there's an AI now is not even the part that's goofy.
It's not even close.
So, yeah, this is such a fucking weird chapter. At this point, Chihiro, Alter Ego, changes her face and voice to be just like Mondo and decides to give Taka a pep talk as Mondo because she used machine learning to find out about him. And he basically just tells, he being Mondo, basically just tells Taka to like get his shit together, right? There's one part I think is really interesting. He's giving him a pep talk saying you gotta basically man up. But then he says, a man is only worth as much as the weight he can carry. Which is like not good advice. But yeah. I actually had some interesting thoughts about that, but now I forget what they were. I think it was something tying again last week with once again how Mondo and Chihiro dealt with their similar issues differently. And Mondo dealt with it badly. Anyway, he gives him a pep talk and it works on Taka. And so Taka finally snaps out of it and he like goes Super Saiyan basically. And he starts hollering, and he's like, I'm not Taka anymore. I'm Ultra Taka now. He doesn't say Ultra Taka. That's my that's my interpretive license. He just goes nuts, and he starts cursing. He starts
sort of cursing. He says, like, fudge you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He starts, like, kind of cursing. So he just kind of loses it. So the next morning, only Hiro is there. And he says, let's go take a bath. Hiro... Wait, what happens here? I forget. Oh, right. Hiro is like, hey, let's all go to the bathhouse. Wink, wink. Implying that Kyoko had asked everyone to go there. You get to the bathhouse. As soon as you enter, you hear Hifumi yelling, she's trying to kill me! And he's pointing at Kyoko. We all figure, you know what? If Kyoko is trying to kill Hifumi, she's probably got a good reason. And anyway, yeah, Hifumi's been going to the bathhouse at night to fraternize with Alter Ego. Kyoko is so fucking pissed. Here we learn that Hifumi is legitimately in love with Alter Ego. At first we think that this is really creepy, but it actually becomes really heartwarming. He says that Alter Ego is, quote, the first time I've ever been able to talk to a normal girl. She was interested in his dumb hobbies and cared about him. Like, not like super crazy stuff, just like she listened to him and didn't tell him to fuck off and that he's stupid. And he said that he was just really, really happy talking to her. So, like, he wasn't even actually doing anything lewd or creepy. He was just talking to her about, like, video games and shit. And she cared. It's really heartwarming. And I take back everything I ever said about Hifumi. For now.
He also last week was going to be my memorable moments. I forgot to bring it up, but he said "fuck the police" last week. So
he did say "fuck the police" last week.
He's okay in good. That book.
So anyway, we found out that Taka, whose full name is Kiyotaka, is has merged with Mondo to become Kiyondo. So we got an interesting theme here. We got an interesting theme here of people existing beyond death. Both of the people who died last week have continued. Anyway, Hifumi and Kiyondo start fighting over Alter Ego because Hifumi is in love with Alter Ego because the girl is nice to him. And Kiyondo, they're just calling him Taka, but he calls himself Kiyondo.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves cares a lot about Alter Ego because Alter Ego is also Mondo and gave him his groove back. Kyoko says, for the love of fuck, can everyone just be normal for 5 goddamn seconds?
Nope.
And Sakura says, if anyone touches Alter Ego, I'll kick your fucking ass. Which does work. You have a bit more free time. I hang out with Celeste twice. Next morning, holy shit, Byakuya and Togo show up to the morning breakfast at the same time because they were fucking. That's not artistic license. That is probably what happened because they show up at the same time, and I believe Byakuya says something like, "If you're wondering why we showed up at the same time, it's what you'd think." I think he says something like that. He's like, "Yeah, I know what you're thinking, and you're right." So they fucked, which is not okay.
He likes Genocide Jill.
Yeah, I'm guessing she'd probably just. Either she dommed him into domming Toko. It was a 3-way, even though it was only 2 people. Anyway, whatever. Genocide Jill just wants to dom Toko. Let's be serious. That's what she wants.
That's
anyway,
not true, OTP.
Anyway, Byakuya wants to know what's up with Alter Ego. We all tell him kindly to fuck off. We get more Celeste here because it's free time. I hang out with Celeste more. I max her out here. There's a note slipped under your door. Meet in the dining hall. Well, all right.
And the handwriting is really pretty.
Yes, the handwriting is really, really pretty. He says, Kyoko said to get him sneakily because everyone else is meeting in the bathhouse. So you get to the bathhouse. Everyone's being normal. Everyone is being capital N normal as usual. Why did Kyoko bring us here? Oh, fuck. Alter Ego has disappeared. Someone took her. This news causes everyone to get even more normal. So one thing that's funny is that we know it wasn't Taka or Hifumi because apparently Kyoko explicitly told Alter Ego to holler if either of them came. She's like, please yell like not stranger danger. Byakuya says that the player who has already seen a cutaway scene at the end of the last chapter already suspects. There's a traitor in their midst. Perhaps the traitor took AE. She's probably still alive, because if the traitor wanted to kill her, they could have just smashed her right there. People don't really believe Byakuya about there being a traitor, because it's Byakuya. But we know there is, because, again, the game showed us. Dramatic irony. It's kind of sad. After all they've been through, and their ever-increasing feelings of solidarity and hope, they now are starting to mistrust each other once again. Next morning, only Hina, Sakura, and Kyoko are there. No one else shows up. Fuck. Kyoko is worried that with all the talk of AE, they've gotten careless and someone has been murdered. It's like, shit, we were too busy focusing on the damn computer, we forgot about the whole, murder thing. The four then split up to look for everyone. Sakura is checking the dorms, every person's room. We're in charge of the school section of the first floor. Kyoko goes to the second floor, and Hina goes to the third floor. After a bit of fruitless searching, we hear Hina holler from the third floor. Everyone come up here. You go up. Hina says, you go inside. I'll get the others. Oh, inside of the rec room. We go inside. Oh no. It's Celeste. Who is not dead, but she does seem injured. She said she was attacked by some sort of strange man, but she can't say who it was. They attacked her with a giant hammer. It's a goofy-looking hammer. It's the fucking hammer of Zillyhoo from goddamn Homestuck. No,
it really is.
On the hammer is painted and says, Justice Hammer 1. Hina and Sakura show back up. So here's Celeste's story. She woke up a little bit before 7 a.m., which, if we recall, is when the morning announcement happens. Even though it wasn't morning yet, she figured it would be okay to take a little stroll. She strolled around the first floor and saw the strange man. She followed him here to the rec room, but he noticed her and attacked. Right after 7 a.m. Is when he attacked her, a.k.a. right after the morning announcement, while the other four were in the dining hall. She was knocked out for about an hour, waking up shortly before they found her. She says, let's go search for him. Also, Hifumi was with the mysterious man. He dragged Hifumi away, so Hifumi is now in danger. They also find Hifumi's digital camera. Celeste took a pic. Yo, what the fuck? So Hifumi is being held hostage by a goddamn robot. So this chapter has an AI. It has a person coming from beyond the grave to basically do a Dragon Ball Z style like fusion with someone, and now we have Optimus Prime. This was again about an hour or so ago. He headed down the stairs to the second floor. Makoto is like, wait, speaking of second floor, why isn't Kyoko here? Hina says she didn't have time to look for her. Oh shit, Kyoko's in danger. We all run down the stairs. Floor 2, we run into Byakuya and Toko. They say, we haven't seen Hifumi or Kyoko. We just got here. We heard a noise and came running. Sakura listens carefully and says, I think I hear something in the library. It's Hifumi. Oh no, it's Hifumi, who is not dead. He has a big gash on his head, bleeding the heck out. He says Robo Justice hit him. That's actually a name that he made up just now. There's another hammer on the floor. Justice Hammer 2. It's also bigger than Justice Hammer 1. Since he's hurt, since he's really hurt, the entire group, Makoto, Hina, Celeste, Sakura, Hifumi, Byakuya, Toko, goes down to floor 1 to the nurse's office to patch him up. He stays there to rest. Celeste mentions that there could be more victims. Byakuya says, oh no, what if Justice Hammer 3 is even more comically oversized? So here's Hifumi's story. He woke up early this morning and started looking for Alter Ego. He went to the third floor, where Robo Justice attacked him. Also, Celeste witnessed this around 7 a.m. He dragged him down the stairs to the library and whacked him good. That was about 30 or 40 minutes ago, aka 7:20 to 7:30 a.m. You might notice I'm being very particular about timestamps. You're right, I am. At 7:30 a.m., the group was still in the dining hall. Byakuya says he was in the laundry room at the time, and Jill says, yes, I can give an alibi for that. I was peeking on him. The reason we know that she's not just lying about that is because she does call him out on the color of his undies. So the only people with no alibis are Hiro and Taka. Everyone else exits the room, but Hifumi stays behind to rest a little bit. They briefly discuss splitting up, but Sakura doesn't want to. Celeste says, what's that? I saw a shadow near the stairs. Everyone runs up the stairs. Celeste says, let's split up and corner the bastard. If you find him, holler. After some fruitless searching, we hear Celeste yelling from the third floor. Over here, everyone. Hina and Byakuya have come running. She says, I saw him. He ran off. I was blocking the stairs, so he's on this floor. Toko is also here. But just as we're about to go do that, now we hear Hifumi hollering from the nurse's office. What? Celeste says, let's split into two groups. Celeste, Makoto, and Hina go to the nurse's office. Toko, Sakura, Byakuya, y'all stay here and catch the motherfucker. This is the part where the yakety sacks would be very appropriate. So we run down to the both stairs to the first floor. So we're in the third floor. Now we went down to the first floor, and oh no, it's Hifumi. He is dead this time. For real. Since there's three of them there, the Monokuma death announcement happens. And the game is a foof. Someone has died. Sweet Hifumi, our sweet, sweet boy, has died. But wait, there's more shenanigans. There's another hammer. Justice Hammer 3. It's even bigger. It must have been Robo Justice. Makoto is like, yo, I thought you saw him on the third floor. How'd he get down here? Hina is stunned, maybe due to shock. Celeste says, I'll stay with Hina. You better go back up to the third floor to get the others. So you get to the third floor. All the way at the very end of a long hallway is a lab. In the back of the lab is a storeroom. Holy fuck, guys. It's two murders. It's
Two
Taka.
murders.
It's Taka. Now the game's really a foof. Turns out the game's still not a foof. There's still even more bullshit about to happen. So Toko has passed out because of the blood. There's a hammer. Justice Hammer 4. We tell Byakuya and Sakura that Hifumi is dead too, but we run into Celeste who came up to get us. So again, we just went from the first floor to the third floor. Then Celeste says, Hifumi's body disappeared? What the Christ? Now we run all the way back down to the first floor to the nurse's office. Makoto is very out of breath at this point. It's true. Hifumi's body is gone. Hina and Celeste say they briefly stepped out to go to the restroom, and when they came back, it was gone. The killer must still be active. They're all really scared. And then they all remember that they left unconscious Toko up in the lab, so they run all the way back up to the third floor and go to the lab. Toko is safe, but now Taka's body is gone too. What the fuck? Byakuya makes clear that this could only have been Kyoko or Hiro. But Kyoko had an alibi for the first attack, so we guess it's Hiro, who we still have not seen this entire day. And there won't be a third murder because of the rule we established 2 chapters ago. Well, now we gotta go find the fucking bodies. You go to the art room, but the door to the repository in the back is locked? Weird. We leave, go somewhere else. But then Celeste shows up and says, hey, I found the bodies in the repository. Well, there they are. The game is really a foof now. Wait, what the fuck? Hifumi isn't totally dead? He briefly comes back to life and says, I remember Hope's Peak. I remember everything. I'd met you all before. Hina asks him who did it, and he barely ekes out, ... The stupidest twist in the entire game, ... Yasuhiro, ... Now he's dead for reals. Now the game is really actually a foof now. In case you're wondering, the reason I went through all that in excruciating detail is because all that shit was clues.
Yeah.
That was all critically, everything that just happened is a critically important clue. Which is why I put it in detail. Don't worry. I know I went through it really fast. Don't worry. It'll come back later. So,
yes.
Real quick,
remaining clues.
Yeah. So I'm going to do remaining clues. Then there's going to be 1 or 2 more plot scenes, and then a few more clues. Evidence. Monokuma file. Victims are Hifumi and Taka. Both died from a blow to the head. Probably from a, quote, similar weapon. That's it. Now, did y'all notice right off the bat that there's something funny about the Monokuma file that isn't commented upon by the game?
I did not.
That there's one for both of them?
No, what I noticed that was interesting that I thought was going to end up being like part of the trial, but it actually wasn't, so I guess go me for being a little bit smart sometimes. Every other Monokuma file before now has had time of death.
Oh.
So the Monokuma file doesn't have time of death, which, yes, becomes hugely important. Anyway, in the repository, FYI, repository and equipment room both sound the fucking same. So repository means the room in the back of the art room. Equipment room is in the back of the science room. So,
Science
repository.
lab. Yes.
Science lab, yes. So, Hifumi's glasses. These are the truth bullets. In the nurse's office, his glasses had blood splattered on them, but now they're clean. I forgot to... I am silly. I forgot to confirm that, yes, both bodies are now here in the repository. So Hifumi's glasses are clean. There's also a blue tarp. Taka is lying on a blue tarp. Makoto suspects the tarp could have been used to move the body, so, like, blood didn't drip everywhere. There's a dolly. The dolly was in the equipment room, but now it's here. It has a little bit of blood on the wheel. That's pretty obvious. Mallets. There's a bunch of big hammers in the repository. Some are missing. Could have been easily used to make the justice hammers. The other ones are all all dusted and disused, except for one, which is clean and wet, as if it had just been washed. Repository door. Okay, so the door was locked earlier, and Celeste said, I found the bodies, and it was unlocked. It can only be locked from the inside. Equipment room. Equipment room bloodstain. There's a big old Taka bloodstain with some track marks going out of it as if left by a wheel, like of a dolly. Nurse's office. Okay, this isn't registered in the game as evidence for some reason, but there's a bunch of blood vials in the nurse's office fridge. I mean, come on. Glass's cleaning cloth. In the trash can is a bloodstained Glass's cleaning cloth. And yes, it's got Pudgy Pink Princess on it. You also find out that Hirofumi had... Where did we get this? Hold on. We have our own note that we got, the one that says "Meet me in the dining room" that Hiro gave us from yesterday. Uh-huh. That's the clue. Eventually, we go to Hirofumi's room. It's unlocked. Inside of it is Robo Justice construction. There's a bunch of cardboard boxes and blueprints from Robo.
You accidentally said Hirofumi. You mean Yasuhiro's room.
I'm sorry about that. Yes. Yasuhiro's room, the person who is a suspect, not the victim. Hiro's room, there's blueprints for Robo Justice and a bunch of cardboard boxes and like paint and shit. Very, very obvious evidence that that Yasuhiro made Robo Justice. Almost too obvious. On the other hand, Yasuhiro is really stupid.
There was something else I noticed right away about the blueprints.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Handwriting.
What did you notice? Yep.
Oh, damn, good eye. I did not notice that.
Yeah, I immediately saw it and was like, that's not Hiro's handwriting.
Okay, so at this point, did we all fucking know who did it at this point? Oh, go on.
Yeah, like... It was pretty obvious who did it. I think the first time I played it, I wasn't super positive, but I had figured it out before the trial. But,
yeah, I was like 95% sure who did it throughout the entire investigation and trial.
Yeah, but hilariously, the blueprints and everything that are supposed to be Hiro's handwriting, because there's several pieces of evidence this time that are supposed to be his handwriting, is like bubble letters with like hearts for eyes, and it's incredibly like girly handwriting, and I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see what it is.
Yeah.
This was obvious. Why was this? Why did they not like look at those two pieces of evidence and be like, oh, it was Celeste. Cool.
I mean, I didn't think about it, but yeah.
Spoilers.
So we, the players, are pretty obvious that it's Celeste because what I like, actually really like this case. I remembered it being worse than it was. It's obvious that it's her, but it's only obvious just because she's being so suspicious. Like, the exact way that it worked, the actual mechanism by which the murder was done, is very complicated and, in my opinion, very fun to figure out. So, like, the reason you think it's her is just because, like, she's the one who basically was yelling, like, oh, I saw something over there. Oh, I saw something over there. Oh, let's all go to the third floor. Oh, let's all go down to the first floor. Like, she's the one leading you around on a wild goose chase while Yakety Sax plays. So obviously she's in control. Obviously she's being sneaky, right? She's very suspicious. Also, as we've established, she's an expert liar. So we're pretty sure it's her. But all the characters in the game are a little more credulous. So anyway, there's one more scene. Hina found Kyoko, finally, who's been gone this entire time. Also, Robo Justice has finally been found. Hirofumi was not Hirofumi, Yasuhiro. Yasuhiro was wearing the costume. We head to the pool. So, Yasuhiro, turns out he was inside the locker in the pool. He's extremely confused. He seems to have no idea what's going on, even more than usual. He also says, someone recolored me while I was sleeping, which is a funny little thing. Kyoko says he was literally stuffed into the pool locker like a high schooler being bullied. We question where she's been. She dodges the question and once again says, there was something I had to check up on. She presses Hiro for answers. He says, 1 second. He says, 1 second, I was asleep, and now I've woken up. He's like, what the fuck is this thing? I can't get it off. There's a clasp on the back that he wouldn't have been able to get off on his own. The costume does, however, fit him perfectly. No one else could have worn it. We all accuse him of murder because it's very obvious that he did it, and he's like, murder? What murder? Also, this is not evidence that is given as a truth bullet, but it is evidence the costume cannot bend at the waist. In defending himself, Hiro says, Last night, a note was slipped under my door. It said, I found a hole. Maybe we can use it to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m. He went there and then fell asleep and doesn't remember anything else. Kyoko's like, the nurse's office did have some chemicals you could use to knock someone out like this. Not Kyoko, Yasuhiro, I just write Hiro every time Hiro shows up in the notes. I just wrote Hiro. If I say Hiro, I mean Yasuhiro. If I say Hirofumi, I mean Hirofumi.
His name is Hifumi. There is no Hirofumi. It is Hifumi.
Just
You're
Hifumi.
right. You're right. Okay, his name hasn't shown up for like 2 pages worth of notes, okay? Hiro cannot produce the note. We all disperse. Hiro is going to try and get some evidence to defend himself. Kyoko says, hey Makoto, I'm coming at this a little late. Would you mind, catching me up? Makoto says, sure, but you got to tell me what you were up to. And she just is outright just like, no. So we investigate the body slightly more. First of all, Taka's wristwatch. Kyoko notices that Taka has a wristwatch which is broken. It literally must have broken when fighting the assailant. It's frozen just past 6 a.m. Taka also has a scrap of paper. He was grasping, rigor mortis style, a scrap of paper in his hand. The paper was clearly torn off of a larger piece of paper, and there's nothing written on it. Also, Hifumi, there's his name, Hifumi also has a piece of paper on him. It's stuffed down his pants. Kyoko reads it. It says, I found a hole we can use to escape. Meet me in the rec room. But instead of saying 1 a.m., it says 6 a.m. And it's got a segment torn off. They were both drawn to the rec room. To get murdered, perhaps. Anyway, but also, Hifumi obviously didn't die till later. Anyway, also, Kyoko mentions that the handbooks might end up being important, but doesn't say how. Well, we're almost done. We have one more clue, which is a testimony from Celeste. Celeste's testimony. Celeste and Hina were watching Hifumi's body in the nurse's office, but Hina, quote, seemed to be getting worse, so Celeste took her to the bathroom. When she got back, the body was gone, and they were only gone for about 2 minutes. So here are the questions going into the trial. 1, how did the killer get the extremely massive Hifumi from the first floor all the way up to the 3rd floor in such a brief window? When I say extremely massive, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm saying it's very important that he's very, very heavy. Why did the killer kill 2 people? More murders means more evidence. A lot harder to pull off. And secondly, why did the killer hide the bodies? I mean, they found them pretty quick. Hiding the bodies didn't do a lot. So we go down to get to the trial. So we've got a pretty medium-sized body of evidence and a lot of circumstantial evidence involving timestamps. Again, I will be going over the timestamps later when it becomes important about halfway through this trial. So, right off the bat, everyone is just like, Yasuhiro did it. He's like, no, I was asleep the whole time. Celeste says, the evidence is the blueprints and the materials. He clearly built the damn thing. Even though we definitely suspect he really did it because of reasons, in my opinion, the very first truth bullet actually really stumped me. This is the part that you two seem to get right away because y'all are smarter than me. You show the note from last night and show the blueprints, and you're like, handwriting doesn't match up at all. Byakuya backs us up and says, I think Yasuhiro was in the suit the whole time, but he didn't do the murders. The culprit had nothing to do with Robo Justice. Oh yeah, also, halfway through the investigation, you say something offhandedly to Byakuya, and Byakuya all of a sudden is like, so Byakuya also has some ideas here. It's not like last time where he's railroading you. It's actually kind of cool. It's like, oh yeah, you're not the only person with agency in this whole game. Other characters get to have ideas too. So anyway, Byakuya has some hunches. Byakuya says, look, let's clarify how they moved Taka. We say the tarp and the dolly. There's a stupid fight with Celeste over this that we'll skip over. Oh shit. Byakuya says that now that we know how Taka was moved, we know Robo Justice didn't do it. The dolly didn't have a handle. The suit couldn't bend at the waist, and you can't remove it by yourself. So someone wearing the costume couldn't have pushed the dolly. Everyone seems convinced, but Celeste interjects again. She says, "What about the fucking picture that I took of Hifumi being dragged away by Robo Justice? Also, Hifumi literally said Robo Justice attacked me earlier when we found him in the library. He said Robo Justice attacked me." Kyoko says, "Look, the path to truth is to look at shit from all angles." So this is actually pretty cool. Kyoko says, "Look, if we try to look at this thing as a holistic whole, we're just going to go in circles. It's going to be impenetrable. Let's look at each thing as a separate circumstance and analyze each thing to completion. And then we'll uncover the underlying contradictions." So let's go over the timeline. Morning. Makoto, Kyoko, Sakura, Hina at breakfast. No one else shows up. This is at 7 a.m. They go looking starting at 8 a.m. Kyoko disappears shortly after and is gone the entire goddamn time. Hina discovers Celeste on the third floor rec room and goes to get Makoto and Sakura. Celeste had been attacked just after 7 and then unconscious until now, which is around 8. Robo Justice was in the pick and dragged Hifumi away. Those 4, plus Toko and Byakuya, go to the second floor and find Hifumi in the library. They take him down to the first floor nurse's office. Celeste sees something moving around the stairs, so they go to the second floor and split up. Celeste screams again on the third floor. She says he's down the hall, but they also hear Hifumi from the first floor. So Celeste, Hina, Makoto go down, Byakuya, Toko, Sakura stay on the third floor. That's when we find Hifumi's corpse. That's when the body discovery announcement plays. At this point I wrote, "Oh fuck," because I realized something. Maybe you realized it too, dear listener, about the body discovery announcement. Mm-hmm. Makoto goes back up to the third floor. They had just discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. Oh, I actually wrote the thing that we discovered here. It turns out that Hifumi and Taka's bodies were discovered by the two different groups at almost precisely the same time, and that's when the body announcement played, right after both groups discovered their respective bodies. Makoto shows up and tells them about Hifumi. Then Makoto, Sakura, Byakuya go back down to their office, leaving Toko. They run into Celeste, who says the body's gone. They go down to the first floor, then back up again to the third floor because of Toko, and now Taka's body's gone. Then they go search, and eventually Celeste says, "Yo, I found him in the repository." That's the entire story. So, we pick the shit out of that. Let's scroll down. Here we go. First, Taka's death. Hina says, "We know Hifumi was killed before Taka because Hifumi's hammer says number 3 and Taka's hammer says number 4. We say that's fallacious. Maybe the killer intentionally... We've been assuming that all along, but the killer could have intentionally used the hammers in that way to throw us off the scent. Also, the hammers literally got bigger with each hammer, so, this was all made for us to be confused about what order these events happened in. We bring up Taka's wristwatch, which probably means he died just past 6 a.m. This means he was killed well before Hifumi, and even before Celeste was attacked at 7 a.m. That's right, Taka died as the first thing to happen. He'd been dead the whole time all of this bullshit was happening.
I sat playing this and for a good 30 minutes was screaming at my phone that Hifumi wasn't dead.
Yeah.
Really? You have to figure that out?
I spent a good long while. Well, there was that whole Hifumi came back to life thing, and I was like, he did not fucking come back to life.
Right. Oh, I just assumed he was, mostly dead, right?
This game keeps the integrity of its world, really well, and the characters don't comment on it. It's not a truth bullet until it's brought up at the very end, but if this was a truth bullet, they would have solved the case if they would have stopped and fucking listened. So they found Taka, and Hifumi at the same time, the body announcement plays. But then when Hifumi quote unquote comes back to life and says his final words, then a body announcement plays, meaning he wasn't dead the whole time. Therefore, it should have been obvious, but that's not even a truth bullet. That's just a thing for us players.
They actually do bring that up. They ask Monokuma, and
at the very end of the trial, it comes back up, but like it's not. They don't think about that until they like get backed into a corner at the end, and it's just like, come on, guys.
And the reason
this
they don't
one
think
is
about
really
it is
easy to see coming.
Yeah, and the reason they don't think about it is because each of the groups individually. I mean, if you're in one of the groups, you see a dead body, you hear a dead body announcement. Each group heard that, but at no point did they think to talk like, wait a second, we're both assuming that the body announcement was for our body. Wait a second, right? Yeah, and obviously Monokuma wouldn't slough them into one. Monokuma follows his own rules, you know? Anyway, so the point is, Taka's death was the first thing to happen. Taka had been chilling dead in that room the entire day. The culprit intentionally numbered the hammers and made them get increasingly bigger to subtly suggest to all of us the order of events. So since Taka died at 6, everyone's alibi is completely gone. But most of them do still have alibis for Hifumi's death, all except for Hiro or Kyoko. Kyoko says, look, let's not focus on who did it or we'll go around in circles. Instead of who, let's talk about how. So now, how was Hifumi's body moved? This is the part that we were just hollering about. Kyoko says the body moved itself. Hifumi was still alive. And at this point, I'm like, oh, yeah, like, when he came back to life, like, he was obviously, like, on the verge of death. But no, that's not true at all. He was playing dead. He wasn't even injured. It was literally all fake. Celeste says, but we heard the body discovery announcement. But no, that was made because Taka's body had been discovered. We mentioned the glasses. Our boy cleaned off his own glasses and went upstairs. We know that because the glasses were cleaned by the anime babe glasses cleaning cloth. Anyway, also he used the blood vials in the fridge to fake the death. So that's how Hifumi's body was moved. So at this point, it all makes sense to me, Maddie Grace, a homosexual. Hifumi dragged Taka. At this point, I actually wrote Hirofumi in my notes. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna send y'all a screenshot because I literally have Hifumi written in my notes, and on the next line, directly underneath, I have Hirofumi. Look at this.
That's amazing.
That? Well done. Good job.
Anyway, whatever. So, Hifumi dragged Taka into the repository, locked himself in with Taka's body, and remained there until someone went in and killed him. Hifumi was one of the assailants. Hifumi both participated in the murder and was murdered. The ultimate evidence? The note he'd stashed in his pants. The killer must have used the note to draw out Taka to murder him. We say the note says 6 a.m., the wristwatch says 6 a.m., and it was in the equipment room. This note must have been Taka's note, but Hifumi must have taken it off of him to, clean up, but couldn't get it because of rigor mortis, thus the remaining scrap. If Hifumi had taken the note, that means he knew it was important. So whoever killed Hifumi is the true mastermind and culprit of all of this. But no one has an alibi for that, except for Hina and Sakura, who were together. Hiro, of all people, says, let's look at the weapon. After a bit of shenanigans, we determine that the weapon that killed Hifumi must have been the clean hammer in the art repository room. So Hifumi was clearly working with someone, but they betrayed him. But here's the thing. Based on the Monokuma rules from Chapter 1, why would he work with someone? They determined that that rule applies to one murder. Whoever did the one murder graduates. But perhaps the killer convinced the accomplice that if they each committed a murder, they'd both get out. And the culprit convinced Hifumi to do the first murder, so they'd have to be forced to help the culprit out with the second one.
Maybe he was helping because the true murderer was pegging him.
Yeah, at this point you start to get very uncomfortable because if you recall last week, I actually didn't mean to set this up as a red herring. I actually thought it was important. It turns out it wasn't, though. If you recall last chapter, Hifumi and Celeste were clearly getting into some weird dom sub situation. And I definitely thought it was going to be like Celeste, like sexually seduced Hifumi into doing her evil bidding, right? In like a weird dom thing. Turned out that's not it. But I think the game intentionally makes you think that because the game is, as we talked before, irreverent and crass. So anyway, we just straight up say, we're like, look, it's Celeste. We say Celeste and Hifumi had one major thing in common. The two of them are the only ones who ever saw, or rather told us they saw, Robo Justice. We talk about how both of their constant hollering was jerking us around. That way they could do crimes. When Hifumi screamed and we all went down to find him dead, it was even Celeste who said, let's split up. So we'd find both bodies at once, thus disguising Hifumi's lack of actually being dead. Motherfucker. Heck, it was even Celeste who said Hifumi was murdered. If she hadn't said he's dead, we wouldn't have even thought he was dead. Byakuya says, you made one fatal mistake. To Celeste. After Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office, you said, quote, they must really be enjoying watching us run around. We're going to die, just like those guys died. Now, I did not pick up on this. Byakuya is very intelligent here. There's no way at this point she could have known that Taka was dead. She would not have known Taka was dead, but she said, we're going to die just like those guys died. Now, at this point, we got her on the ropes, but she says, what about the pick? Robo Justice was dragging Hifumi away. No. Hifumi was just posing the suspect. They drugged him, knocked him out at 1 a.m., so Yasuhiro was unconscious for all of this. They knocked him out, used him as a prop to set up the entire goddamn situation, and then stuffed him in the locker. Celeste says, but Hifumi literally said Yasuhiro right before his death. That's who killed him. And then we get to the stupidest goddamn twist in the game, which is that
it's so dumb.
Hifumi always refers to people by their last name. Mr. Naegi, for example. So the culprit must have had the last name Yasuhiro. Only one of us has never shared her real name. We tell her, bitch, pull out your e-handbook. So here's the thing. The idea that she had a last name that was the same as Yasuhiro, A, is fucking stupid as bitch. However, the idea that they figured out the truth because they remember that a certain character always talked in a certain way is really clever and cute, and I like that. But it's fucking dumb. So anyway, closing argument.
Because really, like, even if Hifumi calls people by their last names, Celeste was in the damn room. He should have just said her. Why would he say Yasuhiro?
Actually, I don't know if he...
point.
Well, I don't know if he knew she was there, because remember... anyway, whatever. But good point, though. So anyway, here's the closing argument. Before everything started, the killer persuaded Hifumi to help her do murder. At 1 a.m., they lured Yasuhiro into the rec room. They knocked him out, stuffed him into the Robo Justice costume, posed him, took the pick they needed for way later, shoved him in the pool room locker. He's been there ever since 1 a.m. At 6 a.m., they lured Taka to the equipment room, and Hifumi killed Taka with Justice Hammer number 4 and left it there on purpose. Next, they falsified 2 assaults. First, there was the attack on Celeste in the rec room, so everyone would see Justice Hammer number 1 and the picture. Second was the attack on Hifumi in the library with Justice Hammer number 2. Then, everyone left Hifumi alone in the nurse's office, which gave him time to take a blood packet and Justice Hammer number 3 and fake his own murder. He screamed to draw half of the group down, so both groups would discover the bodies at the same time. Therefore, the body discovery announcement would disguise his own currently not dead status. When everyone ran back up, he escaped up. When everyone ran down, he went into the equipment room, wrapped Taka's body in the tarp, dollied it into the repository. Finally, and remember, he locked himself in there, right? Finally, after everyone's like, where's the body? Where's the body? Right then, Celeste I'm presuming they don't explain this, but I'm presuming she just did like a secret knock, like or something on the repository door. Hifumi, realizing it's Celeste, his partner in crime, opens the door, and then she kills him using a regular ass hammer from the room that she's currently in. Then she washes that regular ass hammer and hangs it up. So that is how Celeste did it. She drops her accent. Her name is Taeko Yasuhiro. She says, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on. So, yeah, so that's that. That's this fucking stupid murder. But there's some more plot stuff.
It's dumb. I love it.
So how... I really like this. I thought it was a lovely respite from all the emotions of last week. Also, I don't know, there's a lot of thematic things in it. Like they both, this also involved an e-handbook where it's like learning the truth about someone via their e-handbook, which is interesting. This also had, I already forgot what I was going to say. There's like 2 or 3 other things that link this case to the previous case, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, how the fuck did she get Hifumi to agree to this? Here's what we learned. Turns out it wasn't a weird sex thing. Turns out Celeste was the one who stole Alter Ego all along. This was all... She's been playing everyone like a goddamn fiddle from the beginning. She stole Alter Ego. She later visited Hifumi, told him Taka had abused her, implying like maybe even like sexual abuse, and forced her to do it. She manipulated Hifumi in 2 ways. She manipulated both his love of Alter Ego and his heroic woman-protecting perception of himself. He gets so mad at Taka for the abuse of a woman, the stealing of Alter Ego. He's like, I legitimately want to kill this fucking guy. He's like, you want me to kill this guy? They decide to frame Hiro because he's stupid. Turns out Celeste absolutely fucking hated being stuck here more than anyone else. She completely could not handle it. Not only in chapter 2, but also in chapter 3, her always being the one saying, y'all, let's just live here forever. It's not that bad. Maybe we just need to accept it, live here forever. That was all her playing a long game. Like 2 chapters long. She's been playing a long game. She had a dream and would stop at nothing to achieve it and has no regrets.
Her dream is...
Yeah,
Ooh,
so Eli, so you think, oh, what's your dream? Is it to be the best? Is it to be famous? Is it to save the world? And no, Eli, tell me what her dream is.
Her dream is to live in a big fucking castle with like a bunch of sister wife husbands just like constantly serving her, and in all the ways that the manservants can serve her.
Yeah, she just wanted to be an ultimate goth dom bitch, basically.
Pretty much.
Kind of hilarious. Like,
they've all got like glowy red eyes in the picture too. Like they're all under her thrall. She wants to be a vampire queen, and it's great.
Yeah, It rules. I mean, look, a bitch gotta have some kind of goals, I guess. Like, get it, I guess.
Right.
She knows what she wants.
Yeah. Anyway, so she says, you know what? I fought my hardest for my dream, and she has no regrets. She gives Kyoko the thing Kyoko was looking for, and says her adieus. Punishment time. As usual, this punishment starts off as something really clever and thematically relevant and elegant. So she's burned at the stake. She's burned at the stake like a medieval witch. And it's very dramatic. It's actually got very somber music playing. She's sitting there and the flames are rising higher and higher, and we see the sweat coming off of her face, both from the nerves and from the heat, licking at her skin. And just as the flames are just about to engulf her, a fire truck appears and runs her over. Because Monokuma is, again, a 5-year-old. And it's extremely funny to me. Monokuma presses Kyoko about the Monokuma is like, hey Kyoko, what's that key you got? She says, hey, bitch, I'll answer your question if you answer mine. Kyoko says, what did you do to me? What did you do to my body? Monokuma is like, oh, look at the time. And Monokuma runs off. Kyoko then does tell the group. They kind of like huddle up and do like they make whisper, whisper, whisper sounds. She says, this is the key to one of the dressing room lockers. Obviously, it's where AE is hidden. She says, you all go to the dining room. I'm going to go to the dressing room alone. Makoto says, no, I'm going too, because not everyone still doesn't trust Kyoko. They open the locker and, my heart, there she is. She's safe. Alter Ego is just in the locker, just being chill. Kyoko is so relieved. And then Alter Ego says, hey, I'm probably going to have the files open tomorrow. At this point, Makoto presses Kyoko. He says, be honest with me. What are you up to? She says, you don't need to know. But Makoto's honest. He says, Kyoko, I'm worried about you. Please, just when you act this way, it makes everyone worried. And she says, you think I'm the mastermind. Makoto says, no, I don't actually think you're the mastermind. Everyone else does, which is upsetting, but I actually don't think you are. I believe in you. Friends have to believe in each other, so please believe in me in return and tell me what's going on. So Kyoko spills the beans. And what she says blows Makoto's mind, so therefore he has to go see for himself. What did she tell him? She told him that the boys' bathroom on the second floor doesn't have a camera in it, and the storage closet in the back has a secret door. Makoto goes at midnight. This is a playable segment, playable little epilogue. Makoto goes there alone at midnight, and he finds a secret door. Past the secret door is a secret room. We investigate the secret room. The room is undecorated, with concrete walls and utility piping everywhere. There's a single desk and a bookshelf. There's a bunch of files, volume after volume of yearbooks. One file on the edge catches Makoto's eye. It's not covered in dust. It says, Hope's Peak Student Registry. You take the file, but before you can open it, a piece of paper slips out of it, and you direct your attention to the paper instead. It says, you must not leave. We think about how that's a really weird thing to say. I think Makoto says saying something like you can't leave or there is no escape would make sense, but you must not leave. Oh no, a mysterious masked figure appears behind us and knocks us out. When we wake up, all the files are gone. We somehow drag ourselves down to the first floor and hear a weird noise from the gym. A loud, banging, smashing noise. We crawl to the gym and peek inside, and holy shit, inside the room, Sakura and Monokuma are fighting. Like, legit fighting. They are going ham on each other.
Yeah.
Like anime action fighting. Like, Monokuma's coming at her with sharp razor claws, and she's, like, smashing him with her big, muscular arms. And she says, no more. I refuse to go along with this anymore. I'm going to defy you. Monokuma says, all right, but you know what I have held hostage and what will happen if you defy me. At this point, Makoto says, does that mean Sakura is the ... Just in case you're not playing along and just listening, which of course makes it harder to keep track of clues, he's saying that she is the traitor amongst them. Dun dun dun! And that's the end of chapter 3. Well, now that we've finished for this week, let's proceed to have a blissfully discourse-free memorable moment section.
Yes.
So I hung out with Kyoko the whole time.
Dope.
And I also hung out with Genocide Joe. I'll get to that in a sec. I hung out with Kyoko for most of them, and she spent a lot of time telling me that I was too honest. And I thought that was very interesting because she was like, you're too open with your emotions. Like, the whole reason that I've been able to do what I'm doing is because I'm keeping my emotions to myself, and you know, you need to be more secretive about that sort of thing. And I thought that was interesting. She also, like, the first time we hung out, she's like, all right, well, I'm not saying anything to you. And I was like, okay, cool. And so we just did nothing.
Sounds like a great date.
Yeah. I appreciate being able to be around people who are cool, just being silent together, and just chilling. Like, it doesn't, I like feeling a silence that's not awkward, that's just comfortable.
It's very nice. It's very restful.
And so, yeah, I also hung out with Genocide Jill, and I made the mistake of, well, first off, I didn't just hang out with Genocide Jill, I killed time with her. So I made the mistake of trying to give her a pair of shears. She did not like that. Turns out if they're not her own scissors, she doesn't like them. And I should have known that based on the fact that she clearly said that before. But I didn't pay attention, apparently. So, but I did find other stuff that I had that she liked, so that was fine. But mostly, yeah, this was just like a really goofy week, and it made me feel smart, and I appreciated that because, like, I have a really hard time with the absorb bullets, and I've had to use a spoiler-free guide for those. And I get them backwards a lot. Like, I'll absorb the one that I'm supposed to shoot, and then I'll shoot the one that I'm supposed to absorb. Yeah. I'm glad I'm not the only one doing that.
I'm
some of them were a bit weird this time around.
Since I'm skipping through all of the text, I'm playing on super easy logic mode so that my vague recollections of playing this 6 months ago will be enough for me to get through the class trials. And Makoto will be like, there was something wrong with the third thing that she said. So if you absorb the fifth thing that she said and shoot it at the third one, you will win. And I'm like, okay, absorb the third one and shoot it at the fifth one. Got it. Thank you, Makoto. Every single goddamn time.
I did figure out one of them all by myself, and I was very proud.
Nice.
I was like, I was a big boy, learning things.
One thing a little funny about the absorb bullets is it's supposed to be, like, really clever, like, oh, I'm realizing I can use their own statements against them. But at least for me, and I was playing on medium, I was playing on default difficulty, it wasn't even turned down. On the ones where you're supposed to do the absorb bullet, it still loads one or more truth bullets. But the thing is, it's always really obvious because it's obviously just doing RNG on them. Because basically, you look at the three bullets that are loaded, and you're like, these have nothing to fucking do with this situation. Like, these are so unimaginably off topic, there's no way any of them could be useful. Oh, I guess it's an absorb situation. Okay.
Well, that's helpful for you. It only loads one on gentle mode, and every time I've been like, this must be important.
Well, I mean, maybe it actually loaded one that was relevant, but for me, I got lucky because one of them only loaded one, and I was just like, I don't know what it was, but it was like, you know, they're talking about, like, how do they move the body, and it loads up like something like Yasuhiro's note or something like that, and I'm just like, yeah, that has nothing to do with this.
Mine that was hilarious this time was when Celeste was saying those guys, and you had to absorb those guys and shoot it at the or no, that's the one I did backwards. You have to absorb something strange and shoot it when she says those guys.
I did the same thing.
It loaded Taka's wristwatch. I'm like, okay, well, that's definitely not important.
Yep.
I think it loaded like Monokuma file number 3 for me or something like that. And I'm like, maybe there's something in there. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah. Speaking of which, so this week I also got jealous of you guys that you were able to play a DanganRonpa game. And since I'm just skipping through it, but I didn't want to play this DanganRonpa game, so I've been playing DanganRonpa 2. on hard logic but normal action, because I don't find the action parts that like important to the play style, but I like to have to figure stuff out, and that's real hard but real fun to like be juggling like constantly every single make your argument part. You have like 10 truth bullets that you have to dig through, and it's real fun, and I recommend it if you enjoy the actual sleuthing part of it, to play it on super hard, but it's also real nice to play it on super easy. But did you have any more, Eli?
No, that's pretty much it.
What about you, Maddie?
All right.
You said
Few things. So, when you are in the trial, pretty early on, after you determine that the person in the Robo Justice suit actually wasn't the person who did any of the murders, Hina goes, "But if the person in the Robo Justice suit didn't do the murder, then what kind of robot did it?" So I like Hina.
she is bimbo.
Hina
She
said
reminds
bimbo
me of
rights.
you, Maddie.
She does remind me of me. Anyway, except she's actually a lot dumber and is also buff, and I am unfortunately not actually stupid, and unfortunately don't have any muscles. So anyway, I also really I love a recurring element of this game. A certain element. There's two elements I really love. The next element really doesn't become a thing until next chapter, but I'll mention it here anyway because the two things are related. Every chapter, some people die, and the cast gets smaller. But also, every chapter, the school gets bigger. So the place just gets more and more sparsely populated and more lonely. And whenever you're running around during free time, you don't fucking see anybody in the halls because you've got like 10 people spaced out among 3 entire floors. I really like that. As you can just see that you can just very literally see the group thinning out. A related thing, I love how every chapter, when you're going down the elevator to do the trial, there's a shot of the whole group, and it's always from the same angle. It's like a corner, slightly skewed. What's the film ass word for that? Dutch. There's this fucking Dutch angle of the whole group. Dutch tilt. There we go. Anyway, and every time you see that same shot, you're reminded of seeing it the last chapter, and you realize how it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. You see fewer and fewer people going down that elevator each chapter, and I really like that. It's a really cool little effect that hits home the progression of the situation. Finally, like I said, I dated Celeste this time. I really wanted to date Taka because I had a hunch. I actually couldn't remember. I played the game before. I couldn't remember if Taka died or not. I knew Hifumi died, and I knew that Celeste was the killer, but I couldn't remember who the original murderer was. I had a hunch it was Taka, though. So I just because I was like, yeah, maybe, right? But also I hadn't dated Taka before, so.
Mm-hmm.
What were you saying?
Oh, I was gonna say I also had like that morning when I knew it was going to go down. I like had to count people and be like, okay, I remember a scene with you in case 6, so it's not you. I remember things with you, so it's not you, and work my way back to be like, okay, I know you did it. I know you were accomplice. So Taka, you're the only person left.
The only ones I couldn't think of any scenes of were Taka and also Yasuhiro. So I was like, it's one of them. But I should have known that it'd be Taka. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so I tried to go out to hang out with Taka, but he's totally catatonic, like I mentioned. So you actually can't hang out with him, which is a damn shame because I don't know anything about him and I never will. So I hung out with Celeste, thinking she's gonna die. First of all, I figured out, this is interesting. Turns out that the characters don't have the same number of scenes. Chihiro had 4 scenes before she's maxed out. And Celeste had 5, which is interesting. Maybe they intentionally gave characters who die later more scenes. I don't know. But also, you can't get them all anyway, so kind of pointless.
Yes, Sayaka and Junko both have 3, and there's also only 3 free times for before either of them die. So
Yeah.
you have to max out one or the other, which is kind of cool.
Oh, so maybe it actually is obviously it's not possible to max out everyone in the game, but maybe it is possible to like each chapter max out one of the people who dies that chapter. That's cool. Like maybe I could have done talk earlier, right? But anyway. So I hung out with Celeste, and we learned some things about her that are pretty fun. I unfortunately I do need to scroll for a second. I forgot to be prepared for this. Just for a second, I'm just going to scroll through my notes. I dated Celeste, and we talk about it here. So, date number 1. She says that there's a power that can override any strategy when gambling. It is luck. She says that luck overrides any strategy. She says there's only good luck and bad luck. There's no in between. And everyone is born with one or the other from the start. Which I think is a cool little philosophy she has. Also reminds me of Halo. Then I hang out with Celeste some more. And I guess I didn't write the rest of what she talks about, which is a shame. But she just talks more about her gambling, and she's really wild. She's like, oh yeah, one time I like played Russian roulette with somebody and I won. So she at one point she's like, oh, you should teach me how to play shogi, because one time I played shogi in a tournament and I had no idea how to play. I had literally zero clue how the game works. So you should show me how to play. So Makoto was like, oh, so you lost that tournament? She's like, no, what are you talking about? I won. Even though she literally doesn't know how to play. So that was fun. But the last date is the best one. And again, this whole time you're just learning about how she's amazing at lying and she's a stone cold psycho. Anyway, the last thing is she's like, Makoto, I'm going to tell you about the greatest crisis of my life. And you're like, ooh, juicy. So she talks about, fun fact, I actually forget what the greatest crisis of her life was, but it was some kind of gambling situation, obviously. And it was a really, 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 really dangerous gambling situation. She was doing like the most high stakes game ever against the most elite of gamblers ever, playing some super weird game with super esoteric rules. And you're like, yeah. And she's like, oh yeah, and I kicked their ass. It was easy, but I spilled coffee on my favorite dress. And I had to rush home, and I had to rush to get it to the dry cleaners, and it was like 2 hours before I got it. And if I'd been a minute later, my favorite dress would have been ruined. And that is the greatest crisis of my life. So it's a really good time. I like Celeste a lot. She's a psycho, but also it's like, you know what? I get it. No, I don't get it. I get her caring about her dress. That's the only part. That's the only part of her that I relate to. If you are born with either good luck or bad luck, I was born with bad luck. I am a profoundly unlucky person. Luckily, I was born into a medium amount of societal privilege because I was a cishet white guy for 27 years. No, 26 years rather. And also my family was, well, lower middle class, but still, the point is better than most people, right? But aside from that, I'm a very unlucky person. And I don't mean like, oh, horrible tragedies happen to me every day. I mean like literally any time a thing happens that's dependent on luck, I guess if I wanted to actually win a bet, I could bet on the fact that something is going to go badly for me. If I were to bet that I would lose a bet, then I would win for once. No, I would somehow lose both. But yeah, no, like anytime there's a situation in life that is legitimately dependent on luck, aka like legitimately not dependent on my own skill or someone else's feelings, like it's actually like, yeah, this is actually a toss-up. Pretty much all the time it goes bad. It's just a funny little thing about my life that I've learned to accept. So I do not connect with Celeste. That's it for me. I also do want to suggest something, as again, someone who's played this game and has strong feelings about it. Mm-hmm. Something to focus on going forward is don't think of the characters as individuals. Think about the group as a whole. I think that this game really does a great job portraying group psychology. and how their spirits rise and fall with each chapter. At the beginning of this chapter, everyone was at the lowest point they've ever been because of the tragedy that had happened. But then as soon as they find alter ego, they are now up and they are high in spirits. And the idea that this hope is something to grasp onto, and how you want to try and cling to it even when bad things happen, but how when something gets you down, it shatters it. I don't know. It's really cool. And FYI, that's going to be more of a thing in the next chapter and the next chapter. So, like, pay attention to that. That's it for me. What about you, Sam?
Okay, so last week I did a thing that no cishet white guy has ever done before, and I shut up and let the trans talk. So I'm going to do mine from last week as well as this week. And
sure.
So last week I dated Sakura, and she's the best. And so her whole thing basically is kind of really cool. So her she wants to be the best like no one ever was. And she says that she has one person who's better than her that she's trying really hard to beat. And as you go on more and more dates, she says that she's already beaten this person, but it doesn't count. And so when you dig in on that, the person basically was getting sick and about to retire, so he like went easy on her to let her win, and that made her mad. And she's like, no, it doesn't count if I don't beat you at your best. So even though she is exponentially more strong than him, she wants him to get better so that they can fight for real, and she can beat him for real to be the strongest. It's real cool. Love her a lot. Here are some choice lines from her dates. First one, she goes, "From the day I was born, I've been fighting. Heaven sent me to live as its champion," which is like real heavy.
That's
for you
dope.
To think about yourself. And she goes, "I don't want to just be the best in competitions. I want to be," bold text, "the strongest human on earth." And then, so then later dates with Sakura, she says, "Male or female doesn't matter. It's my duty to protect our legacy," because she had said that her family's legacy was like passed down through all the boys. Her mom had all girls. Sakura, being the oldest, still became super strongest anyways. And Makoto was like, "What's up with that?" And she goes, "It doesn't matter. It's my family's legacy. Like, I'm going to do whatever I want." And then she follows it up with, "And because I'm a woman, I must be even stronger than if I were a man." And after she tells you this, and she like shares her heart with you, she's like, "Oh my God, I'm such a girl." And Makoto's like, "You are a girl." And she goes, "Oh yeah." And she goes, "Maybe no." Makoto says, "Maybe you don't have to be, quote, manly to find that kind of strength," which I thought was really cool in a game that has gestures vaguely at the whole Chihiro problem. Sakura is actually a really great like exploration of gender, and I think that's really cool. This week I dated Yasuhiro, and
Nice.
so his whole thing, if you remember, he's the ultimate clairvoyant. And if you were like me, you're like, clairvoyancy is a scam, and this game agrees. He is not a psychic. He's the ultimate scam artist. And so the first date, he's like, "Dude, I want to cut you a deal. This usually costs $1,000. I'm only going to charge you $900 for me to read your palm." And Makoto's like, "That's not even a deal." He's like, "Fine, I'll give you this one for free." And so he reads your palm, and at the end of it, he's like, "You know what? I take it back. It's not for free. I need $1,000."
Honestly, respect the hustle.
And, it's so good. And like one of the other dates is he's like he brings out like another crystal ball, and he gets you to hold it and feel all the power. He's like, "Don't you want to buy it? It's just $500." And Makoto's like, "No, I don't want this." And so he like somehow convinces you to like come with him to a seminar that he's going to as soon as they get out of here. And as he's walking away, you hear him mumble, "Whew, I finally met my quota." It's just fucking funny.
He's part of a multi-level marketing scheme.
He's been trapped. He's been trapped into a MLM. That's hilarious.
Yes. So some choice lines from his is I come up to him, and he's like, "Dude, I got it figured out. I know who's behind Monokuma. I know the bad guys. It's a secret organization, but you can't say their name. They're that dangerous." And then, quote, Kurt Cobain said their name. John Lennon said their name. And then a running theme on all the dates is he is the ultimate clairvoyant, but he thinks that occult shit is fake and stupid. So so you're like, wait, but why are you clairvoyant? He goes, I'm clairvoyant because of aliens, not occult shit. Get that occult shit out of here. He goes, don't compare my clairvoyance to some occult bullcrap. I hate the occult. Take that crap somewhere else.
I love that. He's awesome.
And then on I think it's the last date. It might not be the very last date, but it's the last date I did with him. He goes, I'm really worried about the outside world. And you're like, why? Do you have family? He goes, no, I have a huge collection of ancient artifacts that I bought online from shady websites. And goes like, oh, you got scammed out of all of your money. He's like, no, if somebody steals all of those, that's my life savings that I put into it. I got to get out of here to protect my collection. He goes, that's why I'm so worried. If that stuff gets stolen while I'm gone, it'd just be the most tragic tragedy. You know what I've had to go through to get that stuff? Why do you think I got held back 3 or 4 years? Oh, he's real dumb. And it's great. I fucking love Hero. I wasn't expecting any of these things to be his date, but I probably should have. They're great.
Yeah,
it's good.
I regret to say it, but I've also now come around on him. That sounds awesome.
He's great, but that's all that I had.
Nice.
Any final thoughts on this week before we wrap it up?
I didn't want to mention what you just said. Reminded me. There's also one more funny little thing that I was going to mention, and I forgot to. When you start to put together the closing argument this time around, closing argument, if you recall, is like a manga that you have to put in some of the panels. Mm-hmm. It's the final little puzzle where you got to put in some of the pictures to show what happened. At least for me on medium mode, this time around, since we're now in the third chapter, a good 20%, maybe 10% of the possible things you can pictures that you can put in are just from previous chapters. Like there was a picture of someone grabbing a crystal ball to throw it, and there was a picture of a big titty poster with blood on it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. They're mm-hmm. goading you, oh, you think that this had something to do with it? And I didn't try, but I can almost imagine the game's no, are you fucking paying attention at all? Why would you that was literally last time, you dipshit. But yeah, even just having them there, I thought is a cute little joke. That's it for me.
Yeah. So we forgot to talk about the games at the beginning, and now we've run long again. So we're still don't get to make our cases for the fucking next game we're playing. But the next game we are playing is either Final Fantasy X-2 or Chrono Cross. Both games are great. We next week is going to be a doozy because we're all going to be sad. Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. So next one's sad again.
Yeah, this is the only happy fun times yakety sax case in the whole game. But so both games rule basically. 10-2, Maddie hasn't played, and Maddie has played every game we've played in the last 3 years. Yeah. So it would be really cool if we did X2. X2 is currently winning, so that might be the one we end up playing. But Chrono Cross is fucking weird, and you know that we like weird shit. So, I mean, you know that me and Maddie like weird shit, and Eli will groan through it and be entertaining. His anger sustains you.
Let your hate flow through you.
But it has made me powerful.
So go and vote on those if you haven't already. Shout outs to our new friend Will and our new friend Doho and our new friend Brandon. We got 3 new people in the Discord this week, and
within
it was
12
awesome
hours of each other.
Yeah, like the first one, Will shows up and we're like, holy crap, it's a new friend. We haven't had a new friend in forever. He goes, well, maybe I'm the beginning of a trend. And me and Maddie both were like, yeah, okay. Do you remember the part when we said we haven't had a new Discord follower in 6 months? And then 2 more came that night. It was nuts. It was fucking great.
Thank you, Will, for apparently willing that into existence. Do it again.
Yes. Do it again. Just keep doing that. Yeah, shout outs to our new friends.
We're glad
to
show up today. But yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out to them. They're the best. Check out our website at www.rpgbook.club for links to all of our socials. If you want to come and hang out in the Discord, we would love to have you. Otherwise, go to ko-fi.com/rpgbookclub to vote on our next game. I think that's everything I normally say.
That's it.
For RPG Book Club, I've been Sam Allman. For RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
Oh, I've been Elias Sailor Eli Warren. You cut out or something, and I didn't quite hear what you said,
okay.
so I apologize.
It's all good.
Well, usually I don't have an excuse at all. So anyway, and I am Maddie Grace Webbin.
My favorite part about using Zencastr is that all of our technical difficulties don't show up like if we normally when we record the other way, because it's all like the recording is safe on our side of it. So they have no idea how hard it is to have been recording these last couple episodes.
Yeah, they don't know what the bad things
are
that we're reacting to.
It's been a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, so I have already set up AT&T fiber with a gig pull down at my new apartment in Madison. So by the time we do Final Fantasy X-2 and or Chrono Cross, things will be back to normal and everything will be good. But until then, enjoy me laughing at jokes 15 fucking seconds after they're told.
We got lucky this time. Bye-bye!
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.
Yeah, I hit rock bottom on caffeine in high school one time. We were doing a LAN party for Halo, as
of course
you do.
Yeah.
And it was a lock-in at the library overnight, and I had one BFC, the 32-ounce monster can. I had one of those, one of the tall blue monsters. I think it was 3 or 4 small green monsters, 2 Starbucks Frappuccinos. I was chewing Jolt gum, and that was back in the day when energy drinks were a special thing. They weren't your beverage. So the whole night I was also drinking Dr. Peppers and stuff. And so I was just fucking strung out.
Oh my God.
And so
How did you not have a heart attack?
I almost did. So I finished packing everything up the next morning. I put my TV in my mom's car, and I sit in the back seat, and I am out. I am barely coherent. I crashed all the way into another dimension, and it was real bad. And at that point, I was like, I'm going to cut back on caffeine. And so I basically cold turkeyed on energy drinks for a long time. And now I only let myself have one a day unless I'm going on a long car trip. So,
thankfully,
as many as I need on the car.
Yeah, I graciously literally never had an energy drink until halfway through college. But even then, I would only drink one if I was driving home and was sleepy and didn't want to be sleepy while driving. It wasn't part of my routine, which is good because they're terrible for you. And even more recently, it's more just something that I've experimented with. But I did used to drink way too much goddamn soda, though, because Dr. Pepper, man, it's just, it's good. It's real good. That's my opinion of Dr. Pepper. But now I have I have maximum 1 soda a day.
But Dr. Pepper uses prison labor, so I do not drink Dr. Pepper anymore.
Oh, really?
So,
well, of course it does.
Yep.
That makes sense. I'm 0% by this fact, actually. Now that I think about it for 2 seconds.
Its bottling plant is in Waco, where there are like 8 prisons, so it does not surprise me at all.
Yeah, or also just like its bottling plant is anywhere in Texas.
Yes.
But